Welcome to my channel, Love, Light, Liberty, and I'm your host, Rox Light. Today is Wednesday, February 12th. We are in the second full moon for this year, and it is the full moon in Leo, also known as the snow moon. If you are wondering why the full moon is in Leo when we are currently in Aquarius season, that is because the full moon will always be in the opposite zodiac sign, and the opposite of Aquarius is Leo. Think of yin and yang, and vice versa. When it's Leo season, the full moon will be in Aquarius, which will be Saturday, August 9th. It is also called the snow moon because February is the month with the greatest recorded snowfall annually. Today's show and tell stories will have three parts. Part one will be Moonology February cards, the full moon in Leo, and the new moon in Pisces. Part two is going to be the February mystery show item, and part three is the spooky ghost story called Ghost Typewriter. I hope everyone will relax, get yourself a cup of coffee or tea, and enjoy the show. Welcome back, everybody. This is our second full moon of the year, our full moon in Leo, and today is February 12th. I would like to clear the space first before we get started with the crystal bell. First and foremost, I would like to thank the angelic spiritual realm for helping me in my life to make it possible so that I'm able to even sit here and do this today for you, and their input on the spiritual lesson stories that I'm going to go over with you today. So let's get started with the two Moonology cards for the month. Our first one here is our full moon in Leo, which is tonight. Don't let pride get in your way. Don't let pride get in your way. All right, let's see what the book has to say about that. Have you been letting your pride become an obstacle? Is the question you've been asking based on your ego, or is it from your heart? Leo energy is all about the heart. Think of the big-hearted king of the jungle, the lion. Its energy is magnificent, but when it's combined with the rush of the full moon, it can become over the top. This card may have come to you because you need to end a deadlock that has developed. More love and thoughts for the greater good are the solution for this dilemma. This is a time to find balance between your needs and the needs of the people around you. This will help in all your relationships. Attune to the moon. Be magnificent without being plain too much. Additional meanings for the card. Self-esteem is good, vanity is not. Everyone is equally important. Creative urges should be followed. Work some magic. A friendship may be ending now. The teaching, when the full moon comes into Leo, it can be a wonderfully bright time where people feel more confident to show the world their talents and assets. That's the upside of this illumination and the end of this card, no matter when you pull it. However, take note that the Leo full moon combination creates a sort of tension between your needs and the needs of the people in your networks. Leo full moon is a time to release pride. We are born with all kinds of emotions. That doesn't mean any of them are negative. It just means when they're out of balance that they can become negative. It's not like they're bad. So sometimes we say pride sounds like it's bad, but it's not. Think about the lion and the jungle. This is a lion here. He's the Lion King. He has his family, and what are they called? They're called the pride. And he watches over his family, and he provides safety, security, stability for them, continuing the circle of life, and they feel safe around him. And he has earned his status. He is in charge of his family. So there's a lot of responsibility. So he has that pride in him, and he's looked upon with the other lions and lionesses with admiration and love. So then everything at this point, everything's in balance with his pride. If he didn't have his pride and he fell short, then what would happen is another lion would challenge that and take his place. Now, if the lion decides to get out of balance and let his pride get in the way, this is where he'd want to lash out at the other lions. He'd want to hunt by himself, eat all the meat by himself. He doesn't care about defending off the hyenas anymore. He's going to be not hanging around anybody. And then what does that do for the rest of them? What that does is puts them in a state of confusion, and they don't trust him anymore and stuff like that. And then that's where his position would be challenged again, because they'd be like, you know what, we need somebody else in position that can handle our family. So that's in the animal kingdom anyway. Let's talk about what would happen in three little scenarios I'm going to give you that can happen in the real people with pride when it gets out of balance. So the first story is going to be a boss that has a company, and he or she, doesn't matter, 400 employees. Well, 401. So boss comes in every day. He has this one employee that his name, I'm just going to call him George. So George has been there like, say, 30 years. Well, when the boss came in that day, boss never says hi, never says good morning, never says job well done, never gives George a raise. George has been there 30 years. George finally couldn't take it anymore. He thought he'd reached his breaking point. He could not be under that kind of situation where he felt he was working in a toxic environment for a toxic boss. And he said, you know what? I don't care. I've been here 30 years. I'm unappreciated. I'm unnoticed. I'm not feeling rewarded. I'm going to quit today. I'm not even going to put my 2 weeks notice in. I'm just quitting today. Before he leaves, he tells his coworkers why he's leaving and what he thought of the boss and the company. And so they knew why he left, and he left that day. Okay? Second story, we're going to come back to that one. Okay? This is just the beginning of it, okay? But the boss did find out that HR went to the boss and said, "Hey, your coworker George, he left today because he said this and that about you and the company, and he quit. What do you want me to do?" And the boss is like, "You know what? I'm not concerned about other people's opinions of me, so you can just replace him. That's what I hired you for." And so we're going to leave the story at that, and we're going to come back. The second story is going to be like the same company. Say there is going to be a project in this one department, and it requires a collaboration of a team player to accomplish it. So say there's 6 in the team. Well, one of them is very prideful, and he says, you know what, I'm going to be in charge of this project. The rest of you don't even know what you're doing. I don't even know how you graduated from college. I don't even know why you're here. You're just here for a paycheck. I'm the only one that ever gets anything done around here, and then you guys want to take the credit. So I'm not going to let you do that this time. You just go eat your coffee, donuts, or whatever, and I'm going to be in charge of this. Okay, so that's the second story. We're going to come back to that one too, okay? The third story is maybe you're someone that's prideful and you need to apologize to someone, but you haven't found any way to do that in your heart and soul to do so, because that would require introspection, taking a level of accountability, speaking your truth, and then moving forward, having a changed behavior. And that would take a level of spiritualism to be able to do that. And if that person can't do that, they get stuck. They have an unbalance, and they are like going round and round, and it's not going to get resolved until they fix it. All right, let's go back to, no, actually, I'm going to do a little skip between two angels now. And those angels are I'm going to show you how they are going to intervene in these 3 stories behind the scenes, okay? So here we go. So, what have you been up to lately? Oh, I got assigned a new person, 0128. Oh yeah? What's that all about? Oh, working through some pride, ego, inability to apologize, stuff like that. But I am on level 2. Ooh, you got a stubborn one, huh? Level 2. So what are you doing for level 2? Oh, series of unfortunate events, and now my person's just crying, oh, I'm having such bad luck and I don't know why. And then the angels start snickering to each other because they're aware that they're the ones causing the bad luck because they want the person to wake up and change. So I was thinking I was going to ask you, my person's a little bit much, so I kind of need a couple days off, probably a vacation from this one. So I was wondering, could you take over for me while I'm gone? Yeah, I don't think I'm the angel that you want me to take care of your person because I'm more like the angel that's tough love. And my people never make it to level 2 because I don't let them. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe when I'm out of town, you can crank up the heat a little bit, and then when I get back, I'll have to see what I can work with. All right, I guess if you want me to, I look forward to it actually. But you know what? Your person is not going to like me. And then the angels snicker to each other again because they realize this angel that's going to be assigned, because the person has been so prideful and stubborn, is going to unleash fully living HE double hockey sticks on that person in order to get them to change. All right, let's go back to story number 1 with Boss, that George left the company. All right, when George left, remember I said he had told his fellow employees, workmates, that why he had left. Well, that put on a little light bulb in their minds. And so they started thinking and they said, you know what, we have been unhappy. I think George was right. I think maybe we should, require change around here. And we need to band together if we believe that we deserve change and, good treatment and stuff like that. So what happened was 100 of them banded together and they decided to go on strike. So the next day, well, this is level 2 then, because he didn't change with level 1 when George left. That Boss wasn't concerned about changing or deflected the whole issue back, like, I don't care, hire someone else. So now the angel's like, okay, all right, let's see level 2 here. We got 100 employees now of yours out in the parking lot. Deal with that now. So the HR goes back to the boss and said, yeah, there's 100 employees in the parking lot this morning, and they are saying the same thing George said about you, and then some. So what do you want me to do about it? And the boss is like, well, you know what? I've been wanting to downsize this company for a while now. So you know what? They just saved me the trouble. So what I need you to do is write them all termination letters and tell them they can come get their stuff by the end of the day, and security will escort them out of the building. So the angels sitting there saying, oh, we're on level 3, are we? All right, so there's now 100 employees gone, and George 101. So the angel's like, okay, I got this. I got this. We're on level 3. So I'm going to do a series of misfortune events that leads up to the big finale. And I'm going to call this season finale. The big ending here, season finale. Okay. So what happened is on that level, there was a lot of business dealings that weren't going through. The boss got audited by the IRS. That was not a good scenario. They suffered a lot of financial losses within the company, and all of it combined, domino effect,
caused the company to go bankrupt.
now the boss is at home and has three ways to think. The first way to think is he's sitting there or she's sitting there thinking, okay, where did I go wrong? Okay, think. Where did I go wrong? You know what? I think it's the devil. I think it's the devil doing this to me. You know what? That's what the devil does. They just go around messing up things for people so you just can't be happy. You know what, devil? You hit like a girl. I don't care. I'm going to start another company. I don't care, devil. Okay, well, that didn't require any thinking whatsoever. We can just blame the devil. So that was easy. All right. Or the second way he could think or she can think is, all right, where did I go wrong? Okay, think. Okay, George. Oh my God, it's George. George is the one that started all this. He quit, then he convinced 100 other employees to go on strike, and then it went to a domino effect, and then it destroyed my company. You know what? I'm going to look up George, and two can play this game. He wants to destroy me. I'm going to go destroy George. So now the angel heard that, and he put George under angelic witness protection program because nothing's going to happen to George because George isn't the problem here, having pride and ego and imbalances, you know? All right, the third way the boss can sit there and think. Think. Where did I go wrong? Oh my God, it's George. George is what started all this. He told me that I was inconsiderate, rude, that I had to, like, I wasn't approachable. I didn't listen. And then after that, the 100 employees said the same thing, and I still didn't listen. You know what? I think what's happening here is I'm facing some kind of karmic justice is coming down on me. I'm being served some kind of karmic justice. I'm fixing myself. Let me think. How can I make this right? You know what? I'm just gonna start another company. Apologize to George, offer his job back, maybe a better position. Maybe I can even try to be friends with him. I don't know. I need to balance the scale because if I don't, my life is gonna still keep going downhill. All right. Well, he has free will, he or she. So we're gonna come back to that and see what the angels have to say about that. Okay. So the second story was back to the group project and how the one employee had said he was the only one, or he, she, doesn't matter. So the rest of the team didn't like how they were treated, so they went to HR and told on that person. So that person got fired. So that person's sitting at home. Three ways to think. Once again, the first way, you know what? Where did I go wrong? Go wrong anywhere? It's the devil. The devil did this. The devil doesn't want me happy. The devil screwed this up for me. I don't care. You hit like a girl, devil. I'm just going to go get another job. Don't care. Again, there's no thinking about anything. We can just blame the devil. Second way, the person say, think. Where did I go wrong? Where did I go? You know what? I didn't go wrong. It's my team. I knew they were a bunch of losers in the first place, that they were going to bring you down. See, this is what happens when you work with losers. They bring you down with them. I should have changed departments when I had the chance when they hired a bunch of those rookies. And now this is my life. I'm not going to get my job back. Now I have to go get another one because of them. Again, no rational, you know, introspection on that one either because that person blamed their team. All right, what's the third way to think? Think. Where did I go wrong? Okay, let me think. Um, you know what? This is my fault. I I took too far. I stepped out of boundaries. You know what? I can apologize to my team, but I know I'm not going to get my job back, and that's a repercussion I have to face for the choice I made. But moving forward, you know what? Lesson learned. I'm not gonna be like that. I'm not gonna be stuck up in my pride. I'm gonna work with my team, and I'm gonna teach them. If they don't know something, I'm gonna be approachable where I can teach them. Okay, so one thing the angelic realm wants you to understand is, like, say we go back to story number one, the third thing of the boss trying to rectify and make everything right is the fact that he was going to start another company, hire all those employees, and send them all apology letters. Is that going to balance the scales? And is that person even going to take it to that level? See, they they know that would be the ultimate spiritual balancing, is to make everything right like that. But a lot of times we don't go from 0 to 100 in our learning lessons. So say, for instance, the beginning of the boss's spiritual learning would be just to apologize only to George. Karmic scales still wouldn't be balanced, but it would be the beginning of that person on their learning journey. Because, say, for instance, the apology is just elementary school math. You can't go from elementary school math all the way to college calculus. Say college calculus is your enlightenment, and you are a version of the best person that you are. So this could take years for this boss to balance the karmic justice that was caused. And what we don't consider is what happens behind the scenes. So, for instance, he had 401 employees that depended on him because he was the boss. He was like the king, the one that's in charge of everyone else, right? So your decisions affect other people, right? So say I'm going to do a lowball figure. I'm going to say each of those people, even though the other 100 or 300 that lost their job because the company went belly up, they were caught in the crossfire, but they still had to, their life still had to change because of the boss's decision. And then the 100 that got fired, and then George that quit, right? So let's say out of those 401, each one of them are assigned a guardian angel. Okay, so we got 401 guardian angels, and we have 401 people. So those guardian angels, now the people are crying like, oh my God, how am I going to make my car payment, my house payment? I don't know about daycare anymore. My whole life is turned upside down. And they're crying. And the angels are like, oh my God, don't worry about it. I'm going to get you a better job. I'm going to fix this. He was a bad man. It's not your fault. And so they're scrambling to help recreate each person's lives back into balance. So now that those 401, say, angels have like a class action lawsuit against that boss. And in the physical realm, those 401 people, they might have some lawsuit against the boss too. But for sure, the spiritual realm, because they're demanding justice. So that person's going to have to be worked with many, many years. Like I said, it might not come. He might never, or she might never come to the rationalization. Hey, how can I make this balance scale all the way, so, or even I can start fresh? It could take years. And here's something people are probably saying: yeah, I can be judged until I die. That's when I'm judged, Roxanne. No, the angels are saying you're being judged now. You're not going to wait till you die. You're not down here willy-nilly just doing whatever you want and getting away with it. Even in the physical realm, there's rules. We have rules to follow. That's why, police enforce it. And then you don't follow that, you end up in court again, with a judge and a jury, and you get sentenced and incarcerated, whatever. There's still rules here in the physical world. So what makes you think there won't be rules in the spiritual world? Because as above, so is below. And the same thing with the second story. Maybe that person can only find in their heart to say sorry to his teammates, and does that balance the karmic scales? We don't know. That's up to the angelic spiritual world, because they say words don't hurt. Well, what if one of those teammates that day was having a really, really bad day, and the words that he said to them, like, "You're a loser. I don't know how you finished college. You're just here for your check. You don't know what you're doing." Maybe that really took that person into a spiral. Again, that angel associated with those people are requiring karmic justice. Whatever you did to those people, like, we don't always see the results of what we say or do to people behind the scenes. And you know what? This card is not saying anybody's doing anything wrong, or, that everybody's being prideful right now. It's not saying that. What it's saying is, you know what? You better be careful and think about walking down that dark alley at night, because it might not end up too well for you. That's all that's saying. And for somebody to say, well, you know what? Sounds like those angels sound more demonic the way they're acting when they want to take people down. Again, they don't want to take it to that level. You're taking it to that level, and they're just going along with you. They don't want to have to take it to that level. They'd like you to learn your lesson, square one. Don't take it to level 2. Don't take it to level 3. But you want to keep going. You're going to get an angel that's going to be assigned to you that will take you all the way down to your lowest. And then when you're at your lowest, that angel's going to say, guess what? I just found you a basement. I want you guys to understand, angels aren't just running around or flying around all cutesy and not doing any work. You expect them to come against the dark forces of the world and be protectors and stuff like that. They're hardcore, and otherwise they wouldn't be able to do their job. Why do you think in the Bible there's archangels? There's even levels of them. All right, so that's it on that. Let's go to the new moon in Pisces. Meditate and contemplate. This card speaks of dreams and romance, of soulmates and poetry. It suggests there's a new start coming your way that's connected to a matter that leaves you feeling somewhere between having your head in the clouds and being in a totally altered state. There could be confusion and disappointment if that's what you've had before and that's what you're expecting. However, if you're onto a good thing, then wish hard, because the words of your soul and your heart could help bring about the manifestation of your dreams. If all the sounds of a little wet and watery, that's a Pisces for you. This is the last sign of the zodiac, and the new moon in Pisces is a card can suggest a last ditch effort for you to make your dreams come true. Attune to the moon. Use your feelings to guide your way. Logic won't work right now. Additional meanings for the card. Face your fears. That may be holding you back. This situation is healed. It's time to surrender to the divine. Avoid being deceptive or willingly deceived. And teaching of the card, Pisces is a sign of reveries and mysteries or depths of emotion, idealism, hopeless romantics. It's a sign of water and the unconscious. It's energy of the deep, like watery depths. The new moon in Pisces indicates a time to listen to your feelings and to allow your emotions free rein. Whatever you're feeling as you pull this card is more likely than the truth, unless you're kidding yourself somehow, and you're the only one to know if that's the case or not. If we don't meditate and contemplate, we are not attuning into the spiritual realm whatsoever, because you have to have quiet mind, and that quiet mind will allow messages to come in. So I really like meditate and contemplate, and the fact that we're talking about unbalancing with this card. And then all of a sudden, with the two fish, the yin and the yang is the perfect balance. And then the water energy is energy that's flowing, like going with the flow. So yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. It went from let's not be unbalanced, like here's the balance. And this is the end of the month. New moon in Pisces is the last day of the month, which is like I think February 29th. So new moon is basically about manifestation, something bringing about a new start, something new. So if you want to meditate and contemplate, that's the day, the new moon. And that's why full moon, new moons are important, because that's where all the energy and the momentum of the universe is there for you to kind of like a wind to push you, or a wave in the ocean to push you. That's what new moons and full moons are about. So that's why we should take advantage of that and really attune to the moon, right? So, guess what is now part two to the show, which is our mystery February item. Okay, so before I share what it is, February is, well, purple. That's why I have purple here, but it is amethyst is the stone for the birthstone for February. So if you're born in February, whether you're Pisces or Aquarius, amethyst is your birthstone. So today is going to be amethyst. Look at this one. Pretty, pretty amethyst. So we're going to get to know all about this rock here. And then I'm going to show you some other little specimens of amethyst, and we're going to get to know all about amethyst, which was pretty cool on the learning when I was studying about it. I've had this piece forever, I guess. I've bought stones throughout the years and spiritual things, and I don't know at what point in time I've gotten them, because it's been something my mom was attracted to buying and had the money. I'm like, oh yeah, I think I got this one in Port Isabel, down by South Padre Island. There was a mercado there that had a bunch of crystals and stuff and jewelry, and I think that's where I got this one. So, all right, so this stone. All right, so we have three different layers to it. We have this outside layer, and just like a boring kind of dull kind of dark rock. And it's cut here. That's already cut to provide a base for the stone so you can display it. All right, because otherwise it's rough like this piece right here. Right in there. All right, the second part. So this is the outside part right here, very hard. This is basalt. This is forged where volcanoes are. So when there's lava, that's on the top. Underneath the volcano is magma. So this stone is forged underneath the volcano, in the magma, deep within the earth. So that's what this is. This is volcanic rock right here on the outside. So the second banding here looks like white crystals, which is just the bottom of the amethyst. So the purple doesn't go on this one all the way to the basalt. It has this white band here with the quartz, white quartz crystal. So think of it as like teeth. So if you were to pull this out, and this white part here, this is called the root. So hold on a second. So here's one like from a bigger one that's pulled out, and you can see that it has white more on the bottom. It has some little points there. And of course, this one is a different shade, right? It's not as deep of a purple. It's a lighter purple. So they do come in all different kinds of shading, because it really depends on where they're located in the world and where what the minerals of that area are, that gets added. So this is considered a crystal family, so it's the same exact crystal as these are, but these are just white. When they were forged, they didn't have the minerals to make the purple. So the purple comes from the fact manganese and iron. So remember when I said this is forged underneath the volcano in the magma? So when that cools, there creates these gas bubbles, and inside, when it's cooling, then the gas bubbles can get some water in there and then minerals. And so those gas bubbles form and they're called geodes. And they can be round in shape or just kind of weird different shapes of bubbles. And they come in all different sizes. So say we had a geode that was the size of a coconut, and we cut it in half and we opened it up. It's hollow inside with these crystals. So this was part of a geode section of, that's what this is. Now, some amethyst can come from uh, where it's not from a geode, it's from a hydrothermal vein, which is basically like a chimney that goes all the way down into the magma deep within the earth, and water, it goes into water down there and stuff and shoots it back up to the surface and into the mountains, and it can form amethyst that way. So that's where it's going to be found, like where volcanoes are or in mountains, and also quartz veins, which is like a rock that has, like, think of a book. I'm gonna say this is a rock, and it has a split in the middle here. And in that split, the water and the minerals will go down in there, and it creates the amethyst will form. So when they split it open, the amethyst is in two plates. So it's not like in a geode round that amethyst can actually come on quartz veins, which is a plate of quartz. I'm going to show you some more quartz pieces I have. There's like a darker one. Well, not super dark. Like that's medium maybe. With a nice little point on that one. These are tumbled amethysts, so they're like a rough stone like this, but they're tumbled to make them round and shiny. So if you were to purchase, you can get like a rough stone, or you can with a point and all that, or you can get a tumbled stone. And this one's really a deep purple here. You can get them in different shapes. This when you buy, yeah, this one is a cube. Or you can get even animals. I couldn't find animals when I went to the store. This one is a round ball. Looks like a marble. And then again, some more tumbled stones. I like tumbled stones because you can take them in your pocket. You can rub them when you're having like anxiety. All right, this one's special because look at the coloring on this one. It has white quartz mixed in it. And so this is called chevron amethyst. And there's only certain parts in the world where you can find chevron amethyst mixed in like that. So I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. Beautiful. Okay, this is a little piece of another geode, a little tiny piece instead of a bigger one that you want to display. And it's not a piece off of this one because I want you to look at the coloring in the back of the stone here. You see it has more iron on it, and then this one doesn't. So this one might, wherever it's forged in the earth, it had more iron in that area. Again, this one, tumbled stone, but it has a lot of different coloring in it. It's not just purple in general. It kind of has all that little bit of quartz mixed in it. Um, I want to show you a bracelet that had this chevron pattern on it, chevron amethyst. Look at that. It's pretty. So yeah, this one has like all different kinds of shades. So amethyst is found all over the world. It's not just found in a couple different spots. I'm gonna put this over here. So I have a couple cue cards, so I'm gonna read it to you. Oh, and it's made of silicon dioxide as far as the composition. Like I said, manganese and iron is what makes the purple. Okay, so remember I said they come in all different sizes from small geodes to very large geodes. The largest geode in the world is located in Australia. This back over here. Okay, and it's called Crystal Castle. And it's so big that you can crawl inside, and it is about, I think it's like 2.5 big elephants or something like that as far as size is concerned, and the weight of like, I think they said like 17 cars. So that is the world's biggest geode that you can go see in Australia. Enchanted Cave. All right, here I'm going to tell you all the countries that I found that has amethyst, but when I'm showing it to you, I want you to pick which one you think is the world's largest manufacturer for the amethyst. So I'm going to read it and I'm going to show it to you and you can pick which one you think. Canada, USA, Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, Australia, Germany, Hungary, Austria, Uruguay, Africa, Russia, South Korea, Spain, France, Italy, India, Sri Lanka. Again, there's probably way more places, but what do you think out of all this country is the biggest producer of amethyst in the world? It's like a game show here, you guys. Okay, well, the answer is, okay, here's your answer. It's Brazil. Brazil amethyst. So when you go to a store, a lot of it's probably all going to be from Brazil. Now, speaking specifically from the USA, these are some of the states that have amethyst: Georgia, Arkansas, Texas, Colorado, Maine, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, North Carolina, South Carolina, Arizona, and Wyoming. Okay, now which state do you think has the largest mining deposit of amethyst? Which state is the winner here? All right, you guys, it's going to be Arizona. It's called Four Peaks Mining Company in Arizona, and they've been open for 100 years. And before they started officially mining, when it was before all the settlers came and everything like that, the Indians of that area were using amethyst to make arrowheads with. And then when the Spanish came over with their expositions, they took and found the amethyst there and they brought it back to Spain and they put it in their royal crowns. And I heard also, well, I read also 5 other crowns in different 5 other countries. So I guess the coloring of the mining, the crystals, the amethyst in Arizona is kind of a dark, deep dark purple. All right, it is an official state gemstone for the state of South Carolina. So I thought that was cool. All right, here's uses in today's world. All of us are wearing crystals pretty much every day and we don't even realize it. And you're going to say, "How so? Huh? I don't wear crystals." Yeah, okay. Well, if you wear a watch, I want you to know if it says the word, I think you should be able to see it. This is a big watch. The word quartz on it. You see over here, it says quartz. That means there's quartz crystal in this. They used to use mechanical watches, um, which were all wind ups, and they weren't keeping time as well. And they found out that crystals keep timing accurate. So they started putting a battery in with the crystal, and somehow those two, the crystal kind of keeps the battery charged up and also keeps the timing of the watch accurate. And you're going to say, Sam, I don't wear those kind of watches. Oh, okay. Well, you want to wear a smart watch. Okay, well, it's in a smartwatch. Well, I don't wear smartwatches. I don't wear watches. I don't use crystals. Okay, yeah, you do because you're watching me on technology right now. It's in our technology. It's in our computers. So they are using it every day. We're not even aware of it, I guess. All right. So it has some kind of magical properties. It's not like, oh, Rysand, that's just a pretty nice little stone there. No, it's more than just that. That's why they're using it in watches, they're using it in electronics, and that's why Nikola Tesla studied and worked with crystals. And I'm going to read to you what he said. I wrote it down. See? Okay, in crystal, we have pure evidence of the existence of a formative life principle, and although, in spite of everything, we cannot understand the life of crystals, it is still a living being. So, Nikola Tesla said that crystals have consciousness, that they are alive. That's what his studies are. And we know they have energetic fields to them. They resonate a frequency. Everything resonates a frequency no matter what. Everything. This this candle here, it's burning. It has a frequency, right? This quartz has a frequency. These little hearts have a frequency. They're saying love, love, right? Um, this bell has a frequency to it when you ring it. This flower, this rose has a frequency and an essence to it. The coloring has a frequency to it. This, my antique desk here from the 1960s has a frequency to it, right? Everything combined has a frequency to it. And then, of course, it's a full moon tonight. Guess what? We even have more frequency. Okay, so let's go to folklore story about amethyst so you can understand how far back the story goes. So it goes back to the time of the Greeks and the Romans. And this story is from gemsociety.org. I'm going to get a drink of water. I have been sick for over a week, so bear with me. I am getting better, but I don't think I can get through this without some water. Okay, long ago, a beautiful maiden was on her way to worship at the temple of Diana. However, she had a misfortune of crossing paths with the god of wine, Bacchus. Angered since he had suffered some slight, he vowed to take revenge on the next person he met. He spied the maid and unleashed his two guardian tigers upon her. As the great beast bounded towards the helpless lass, the goddess Diana intervened. To spare her such a terrible fate, she turned her into a pure, clear stone. Immediately remorse seized Bacchus. To atone for his actions, he poured his wine over the stone, staining the crystal a deep violet hue, and so Amethyst lent her name to the crystal. All right, that's the folklore part. So Bacchus, whatever, the god of wine. I don't know. I don't know about all the folklore stuff, but this is what they say. Amethyst means not drunk. And they say if you have amethyst on you when you're drinking, or you have it in your glass or in your mouth, that no matter what you drink, you're not going to get drunk. Or there was a story that the prior kings would have amethyst cups, and then when they would pour their wine in it, they could drink all night, and they wouldn't get drunk, and they were able to keep, the right frame of mind. Okay, historical stories. Okay, this is what gets really interesting. How important is amethyst? Really? Egyptians mined the amethyst near the Nile River. It is in the Book of the Dead. So when they opened up King Tut's tomb, they found that the mummy had an amethyst scarab bracelet on. So they had taken a piece of amethyst and made it into that Egyptian beetle and put it on the bracelet and buried their king with that. So in the Book of the Dead, it said for them to take amethyst and make hearts and bury the hearts with their dead. I don't know exactly why, but there's a lot of things in Egyptology or whatever, where it's like your heart has to weigh less than a feather in order for you to pass through to the afterlife. I don't know if they were weighing their amethyst heart against the feather. I don't know, something like that. So, is amethyst in the Bible? Yes, it is. It's mentioned in the high priest Aaron, which was Moses's brother. He had a breastplate of 12 stones on, and amethyst was the third stone in the third row. 33. Okay. Royal families have crowns, like we talked about earlier when the Spanish brought amethyst back and put in their crowns. There is a tiara that Princess Victoria in Sweden wears, and that tiara goes back from the 1800s, and it's from Napoleon Bonaparte's first wife. And that amethyst tiara has 15 large amethysts in it. Large. So I'm pretty sure that's a very heavy tiara. Tibetans believe that amethyst was sacred to Buddha and they use amethyst prayer beads. So, guess what? So does the Vatican. The Vatican sells, I looked online on their website and they sell amethyst rosaries for people. Kind of like copycat of the Tibetans that use it for their Buddha prayer beads, rosaries, whatever. All right, spirituality. How is it spiritual? Okay, well, it is associated with our third eye and our crown chakra. So I'm going to read in my crystal book here what that has to say. It's short and sweet. So this is Crystals by Jeannie Harding. I've had this book again many years. Didn't get to use it till I found it in the garage lately. And I was like, oh, I need that. Okay, so physical and emotional uses. Popular as a purifying crystal, helping to ward off negative influences and protect from environmental stress, calms the nervous system and the brain, easing headaches and migraines, opens the third eye and the crown chakra, enhancing personal spiritual awareness, healing side effects. In crystal healing, place over the top of your head on the third eye to expand conscious awareness. Place a circle of 8 pieces of amethyst around the body to create a protective field. Wear or carry amethyst to help calm mental stress. Place under the pillow to improve quality of sleep. Okay, so that makes you wonder, like, if you're having a headache, does that mean your crown chakra is blocked? Like, I guess if you guys are having headaches and you want to place amethyst on your head or under your pillow, let me know how that works. Oh, so I also have, uh, I have a crystal card deck and I'm going to pull the amethyst card out of it and read it to you. So it says, Amethyst, trust your intuition. Since we know our crown chakra has everything, and our third eye has everything to do with intuition. So that's what it represents, right? So let's see what it says. Intuition can speak louder than words. Ultimately, all the answers lie within you. Know that you can trust yourself, similar to a gut instinct. Your intuition allows you to connect with your inner knowing. You understand yourself better than anyone else does. Intellect and logic are useful, but sometimes overthinking and overanalyzing can hold us back. Tap into your inner wisdom and knowledge. with your intuitive self is telling you. Don't let outside voices talk you out of doing what you know is best for you. Let your inner voice speak for itself. When confronting a problem, do you most often follow what others are telling you, what your head tells you, or what your intuition tells you? Looking back, were there times when you wished you would have listened more to your gut instinct? All right, here's a crystal affirmation. I trust my intuition. Today, make a decision without using your conscious reasoning. It can be something as simple as ordering food and allowing your inner wisdom to decide. All right, so trust yourself. Don't always listen to everybody else and what their chatter has to say to program your mind, because a lot of people's advice isn't the right advice in the first place to take. Okay, let's talk about care of the crystal. It is a hardness, since it was forged from magma in the deep underneath the volcanoes. It is a hard stone. So, like I said, where you could crawl inside in Australia, people are like walking on top of it. It's hardness of a 7. So 1 to 10 or something is as the level of scale they have for hardness, and hardness is a 10 would be a diamond, and this is a 7. So it's not going to break off or be loose unless something happened to it in transport and got damaged. And these pieces are in their heart, okay? So if it's dusty, you can take like a makeup brush, or you can take a paintbrush, and you can dust it off. That way you can get in there, okay? Now it is forged underground and encased in something, so it's not used to sunlight. So if you're going to put it in the sunlight, what's going to happen is all your pretty purple here is going to fade. So you can probably put it in the sunlight for a little bit to charge it, no longer than an hour or two, but then you need to take it away. So don't leave it in a windowsill and say, oh, this is pretty crystal, and I put it in my window. You're going to ruin it. So don't do that. You can charge it in the moonlight. Tonight's the full moon, so take it outside, put it on the ground so you can get the ground energy to charge it, and then the moonlight to charge it. If it gets dirty, you can wash it with just soap and water. Let's see. I think that's it on cleaning it. Yeah. Okay, I hope you learned a lot about amethyst. I know I did, and I think it's important when, the powers that be are using it. I think the knowledge that they share with us, or whatever little bit of information that we can get online and stuff, is just not even the tip of an iceberg of what's important. And like I said, Nikola Tesla worked with crystals all the time. He wanted to make free energy from crystals for us. So they do have a level of power that we don't really fully understand, even because it's like unseen, and you're trying to tap into something that's unseen. Oh, tomorrow's my daughter's birthday, and in honor of her, she said I need to share and show you guys her stone that I got her last week at the rock shop. I want to show you what this is. This is also a form of a crystal. Look how cool this one is. It has all these protrusions out of it. So what this one happens to be is aragonite. Release your emotional baggage. So if you have a lot of emotional baggage that you need to release, this is the stone you need to go buy. These stones are gifts to us from the universe. We need to use them in the right ways. All right, now it is now part 3 of the show, which is Ghost Typewriter. All right, this is my story. Years ago, I was working at a high school. I wanted to be a teacher. That never panned out because I ended up being a nurse. But years ago, when I worked at a high school, I was substituting there every day. And then when I wasn't substituting, I was working in the office. And they asked me to come in really early that one day so I can answer phones in case teachers called out or parents were calling, or or whatever. So I'm sitting there. The only person that had opened the doors was probably the janitor. It's just like me and the janitor there because it was like really early. It was before 6 a.m. So I'm sitting there, and one of the intercom system, the light went off. So I got up and I said, "Hi, how can I help you?" And then I didn't hear anything. I was just hearing like typing in the room. I thought, okay, well, I can hear them, but they just can't hear me. So I'm gonna hang up and see if they'll call back and then go from there. So I hang up and yeah, it calls back. I answer. I said, "Hi, how can I help you?" Again, nothing, no response, but I'm hearing typing in the room. And I don't know which room numbers are associated, whatever, on the intercom because it doesn't tell me. So I said to myself, okay, there's obviously a electrical glitch or something going on in the system because I can hear the room, what's in the room, but they just can't hear me. So I'm gonna walk on down there to the teacher's room. So I walk to the room and I look inside. It's the door's locked, the windows, it's dark in there, it's black in there, but I see there's typewriters in there. So I realize it is the typewriting room, but no one's there and no teachers are around or anything. Again, I'm still there at the school by myself and probably the janitor that opened the door for me. So I was like, okay, that's weird. And I try to rationalize it again. And I tell myself, you know what? Probably the teacher just stepped out right now, barely. And they were here, but now they're not. So I go back to the office. So later in the day, I kind of kept eating at me because I didn't know what was going on. So I walked down there and I talked to the teacher and I said, "Hey, were you here earlier in the morning working on some stuff with the typewriters?" And he said, "No, I wasn't here until regular time, like 7:30 or whatever." And he said, "Why?" And I was like, "Well, your light went off in your room like twice in a row, and I'm hearing the typewriters going." And he started telling me his stories or stories that he's heard from the school too of different things going on at the school. I think they felt comfortable talking to me since I felt comfortable talking about it. So people started, and I would say, "Is there anything you guys want to tell me about what's going on here?" I already know there's something going on around here. And then, yeah, everybody started telling me, like, yeah, the main machine shop room, the machines were going off one day. Or they'd tell me, "Hey, if you hear a cart going up and down the hallway with some squeaky tires, it's just the janitor. He used to work here like 30 something years. And then when he died, after he died, we just would hear his little janitor cart going up and down the hallway." And then one of the teachers told me the school was built upon Indian burial ground. So yeah, it just had a lot of energy going on. So I want you guys to know it doesn't matter where you go as far as spirits are concerned, they live everywhere. I mean, it can't be just somebody's house, it could be a school, a hospital, anywhere. They're everywhere. So not everybody can tap into them, and some people can and some people can't. So yeah, again, that didn't bother me. I just was curious, I guess, because I'm curious and I'm open to things. So that was the story about the ghost typewriter. Anyway, that completes the show. I hope you had a good time today. Tonight is the full moon, like I said, so go charge your crystals outside tonight. I know I'm gonna do that right now. It's already late. I kind of got a late start today, but I did want to shoot this during the full moon, and that's why my goal, because I want to work with the universal energy because that's what pushes things forward. Like I said, like a wave, like the wind, that's what the full moon does, and the new moon. It pushes things forward. So that's the agenda here, and I hope I can kind of like set this tone for a simpler time because I miss that. I miss when it was elementary school and it was show and tell, and everybody looked forward to that because it's like you can hear stories from your classmates and get to know them a little bit better, and it was just kind of fun. Even if they said stupid things or simple things, it was still fun. And a time where like Bob Ross was just painting his pictures and giving his little bits of personal advice, and people kind of embraced that. A time where Mr. Rogers was cool. And the creepy puppet show, yeah, you watched it, you know, it's cool. That all that simple stuff has gone away. And now in this world, everything is in your face, and it's like it kind of just reminds me of a big circus show. And that's not what we need to embrace when it comes to spiritualism. We need to slow things down, go back to simple things because simple is more powerful. All right, you guys, have a nice full moon tonight. See you next time.